that.
Have the beach to walk, to run, ride bikes, or whatever, and let the kids play. That's what I think. No cars, period.
Now at 6:30, it's a divisive debate. A new plan could soon open up more sand to drivers. We'll show you where and why, and we'll take a look at how beach driving got its start, and then we want you to weigh in. Good evening. This is News 6 at 6:30, getting results. Thanks for joining us here live on News 6 Plus. I'm Justin Warman.
And I'm Ginger Gadsden. Also, the world's #1 golfer led away in handcuffs on the way to the PGA Championship. What Scottie Scheffler has to say about accusations he dragged an officer with his car as he tried to get around a police investigation. And believe it or not, he was out of jail in time for his tee time. It's one of our top trending stories tonight.
She had an awesome life. She had a lot of fun, a wonderful family, and so many family and friends will miss her.
Remembering a NASCAR legend who was a fixture at every single Daytona 500, but she never once took the track. How she got results for 8 decades, even before there was a Daytona International Speedway.
We start now at 6:30 tonight with an 11-year-old boy in custody accused of shooting and killing a woman. Sky 6 was over the neighborhood as word of his arrest broke this afternoon. The shooting happened just before 8 o'clock this morning at a home along Idaho Court. That's just a few blocks from Spring Lake Elementary School in Ocoee. News 6 investigator Mike DeForest is in the neighborhood.
Just a horrible situation out here. The woman who was killed, her name is Sandra King. She was 55 years old, and we're told she lived in this house back here with that 11-year-old boy. Investigators say he was a relative, but at this point they're not providing the specific relationship. Let's take a look at some video we shot just a couple hours ago. Ocoee police were called out to this house just before 8 o'clock this morning. When they arrived, they found King suffering from at least 1 gunshot wound. She was taken to Advent Health Apopka, but sadly did not survive. Now, investigators later determined she had been shot by that 11-year-old relative. Now, we do not know yet if this was an accidental shooting or if it was an intentional act, and so far police have not disclosed how the boy may have gotten the gun. Right now, that 11-year-old is in police custody. Taking another look out here, you can see children's bicycles on the front porch. Police cleared this scene a little while ago, and they tell us this remains an active investigation. Reporting in Ocoee, Mike DeForest, News 6.
We have several new developments on that deadly farm worker bus crash in Marion County. Right now, a vigil is underway at the crash scene along State Road 40, remembering the 8 lives lost this week. Troopers say a pickup sideswiped their bus on the way to Cannon Farms in Dunellen. That driver is charged with DUI manslaughter. Now, the farm workers were traveling from Gainesville. That's where the Mexican consulate is expected to give an update any moment now. News 6's Treasure Roberts is in Gainesville tonight, waiting for that to happen. We will hear from her tonight at 11 o'clock. In all, 53 farm workers were in the bus when it flipped over. We mentioned earlier a vigil for the victims got underway less than 30 minutes ago at the crash scene on State Road 40. Earlier, News 6 reporter Laverne McGee shows us how a memorial honoring the 8 lives lost is expanding.
They were here to work and make their money for their family and go back home.
My goal is that these families know that I'm here with the rest of more people that we care about them, and we're going to do anything in our power to make them feel the best way possible.
To show support.
Exactly.
Roberto Marquez is the artist who created the murals at the memorial to honor the victims. The driver, Brian Howard, is still locked up on 8 counts of DUI manslaughter. Investigators say Howard admits to smoking marijuana oil and taking prescription pills the night before the crash.
Tonight, an Orange County corporal has been relieved of duty by the sheriff after being arrested on child porn charges. Corporal James Montiel has spent nearly 2 decades on the force. He was arrested today by Seminole County deputies after an investigation. Orange County Sheriff John Mina says that these are serious criminal allegations and that there's no place in the sheriff's office for anyone who commits such heinous crimes. Corporal Montiel joined the Orange County Sheriff's Office in 2006. The Orange County Sheriff's Office confirms that he was involved in the deadly shooting of Salethus Melvin outside the Florida Mall back in 2020, a lethal use of force that sparked protests. Orange County's top prosecutor later cleared him of any wrongdoing. Today, Corporal Montiel was relieved of duty without pay. Boeing is pushing back the first crewed flight of the Starliner space taxi yet again. NASA's commercial, Boeing and ULA now targeting no earlier than 3:09 p.m. on May 25th for that test mission. And that is Memorial Day weekend. Teams are trying to make sure a helium leak is permanently fixed on the Starliner service module. The launch was last scrubbed on May 6th due to an unrelated problem with the rocket. Until this afternoon, they were aiming to launch next Tuesday. But the next liftoff from the Cape is now less than 2 hours away. SpaceX targeting 8:32 to send up more Starlink internet satellites. Weather is at least a 75% chance of go. We will carry that live on News 6, plus clickorlando.com and on air.
Well, it is definitely something that sets Volusia County apart from the rest of us, right? Plans to expand where driving is allowed on the beach back on the table. But county leaders will also soon consider keeping cars off the sand in one of the busiest areas near the Ocean Center. We want you to weigh in, but first, News 6's Molly Reed walks us through these proposed changes for driving.
This section of Daytona Beach behind me is where the pier, the boardwalk, and the Hilton Oceanfront Resort sit. Now, International Speedway Boulevard here is where traffic pauses going north right now, but some people want to change that and allow traffic to keep going. They've been pushing for it for years, and that discussion is set to start next week.
I think this will add a little benefit to get more locals out there because our main business here at the brewery is tourism.
Tom Caffrey, owner of the world's most famous brewery on Main Street, is one of those that's been pushing to get driving and parking back on this part of the beach, saying it would help get people in the door.
I think having that open, it will also give us a more year-round traffic. The area has become much worse off as far as buildings go and things that were here. We've lost a lot of local businesses, we've lost a lot of people, and I think opening the beach back up to driving will benefit that.
So why can't you drive and park on this section of the beach right now? Well, back in 1996, Volusia County actually created a rule prohibiting beach parking if a certain number of parking spots on land next to that stretch of beach had been created. In the case of this stretch of beach, the Ocean Center was built in 2000, prohibiting parking here because Ocean Center came with 1,500 parking spots. Some people would rather keep things the way they are, though.
I like having the freedom of the space all around me, and I also feel like it's such a disservice to the natural environment.
Have the beach to walk, to run, ride bikes, and whatever, and let the kids play. That's what I think. No cars, period.
So what the Volusia County Council will be discussing next week will really just get the ball rolling. Even if the County Council votes yes to allow driving on the beach here, they still have to get the state's approval. In Daytona Beach, Volusia County, I'm Molly Reed, getting results, News 6.
All right, so you're born and raised here. When you have friends who come from other parts of the world, right, and you take them to the beach, are they surprised by that?
I think the word might be out, but maybe it's just because we've been talking about it for so long, because it's been happening for so long. But yeah, it is a little bit of a shock. And to be honest, when I'm out there, when I'm going to the beach, I look for places that are not being occupied by cars. That's why Ponce Inlet's one of my favorite places to go, just because there's no beach parking, you don't have to worry about everything. But I understand why people like it, to have the convenience of your car.
Of course, you don't want to have to carry your stuff everywhere.
Yeah, so, I mean...
If you have kids and dogs, though, you got to be so careful.
Yeah, you do. Oh, absolutely.
All right. Well, Cars on the Beach is nearly a century-long tradition in Daytona Beach and Volusia County.
Well, get this, it goes all the way back to racing before there was a speedway. So we found this photo from 1956. Look at Mad Dog right there in the front as race cars waited on Daytona Beach to begin a beach road course. But the first official race dated back to the 1930s. Obviously, a lot's changed since then. There's, of course, a speed limit now.
Thank
no
goodness.
Racing. They do have a speedway. But we also want to know what your thoughts are on beach driving. You can weigh in at clickorlando.com/react right now. Are you for it? Are you against it? Just click yes or no. A few dozen folks have voted so far. Yes, it's a tradition is leading, but it is neck and neck. You can make your voice heard right now at clickorlando.com and weigh in. You can also pull out your phone and check out, or the poll is also inside Molly Reed's story, which is on the homepage of clickorlando.com. So yes, it is a polarizing topic as we see.
I want to see it again just so I can see those cars parked on the beach from so long ago, because I think you had fewer cars parked on the beach then, because each one is like a city block long. Those cars were huge. My goodness. Okay, so the possible shift in beach driving is one of the top stories trending tonight on clickorlando.com. And so is a tribute to a lady who played a role in racing for more than 8 decades. But we have to talk about another top story trending first, though.
That's right. If you've been checking your Facebook feed or social media at all today, you probably know this headline. Scottie Scheffler handcuffed, arrested at PGA Championship. Here's what happened. So here is what happened. It all started when the Masters champion drove past a police car in a traffic jam, but the world's #1 golfer swears this was all just a big misunderstanding. Scheffler was headed to the second round of the PGA Championship when officials say he tried to go around a deadly crash. He was taken, mugshot and everything. Yep. Police say Scheffler disobeyed the orders they gave him and then dragged an officer to the ground as he went around the wreck. Scheffler facing a string of charges, including a felony. The 27-year-old says he did stretches and he warmed up in his jail cell.
I was driving in this morning trying to get to my warm-up time and get ready for the round of golf. I didn't really have an understanding of what had transpired this morning. And my main focus after getting arrested was wondering if I could be able to come back out here and play, and fortunately I was able to do that. The officer that took me to the jail was very kind. He was great. We had a nice chat in the car that kind of helped calm me down. I was shaking, almost I would say in shock and in fear, and so coming out here and trying to play today was definitely a challenge. But I did my best to control my mind, control my breathing.
And you said his best was pretty good today.
I'd say 5 under, which was the second best round in the first wave.
After
now he's in
all
third
that.
place. How? That's what I want to know. You're going to go play not just any PGA Tour event. This is a major championship, and you go out, get arrested, get to the course an hour before your tee time, and then do that, birdie the first hole. He's also a new dad. He had a kid that's right. 8 or 9 days ago.
Well, it was during the Masters.
Yeah, that's when it was baby watch during the Masters. He ended up winning that. We'll see what happens here. But just an incredible, I was so shocked when I woke up this morning. I thought it was a misprint. I go, a golfer was arrested, not just any golfer, but Scottie Scheffler.
Yeah. Well, that's what sets him apart from the rest, not the arrest, not that, but just nerves of steel.
Nerves of steel,
yeah.
Wow.
Well, tonight's third top trending story honors a true legend of NASCAR, one who never took to the track, but she got results in the ticket booth for more than 80 years. The headline says it all. Juanita Lightnin Epton, who worked every Daytona 500, has died at 103. She was one of NASCAR's first employees and worked at the Speedway until shortly before her death. News 6's Mark Lehman looked at her legacy. Here's some of his report.
She was a fixture at the Daytona International Speedway ticket office ever since it opened in 1959.
Dating back to the very first Daytona 500, I think there were only about 10,000 tickets that were sold, and Lightning had her fingerprints on almost every single one of those.
President Frank Kelleher says Juanita Lightnin Epton was part of the Speedway's foundation. She was given the nickname by her late husband, who was a timer. The couple began working with the France family back when races were still on the sand. The ticket office named in her honor in 2022, and she was still working there up until a few days before her passing on Thursday.
It's here inside Lightning's ticket office where you can see just how much she meant to so many here at the Speedway. We have pictures like this one with messages of support for Lightning, and even more personal items like this one, a birthday card when she turned 101.
How hard is it to imagine the Speedway without Lightning?
Really hard to put into words. I don't think I'm there yet. I don't know if our employees are there yet to really think about a major event weekend without Lightning.
I am, what a great loss for the community.
Yeah.
She was a staple there. But I love that she was able to celebrate and the community gave her flowers while she was still here to appreciate it. That's so nice.
It's so nice. And she will be missed, but her legacy will live on. I mean, you got the ticket office right there with her name. That'll never change.
Yeah. Well, no doubt you'll need to beat the heat this weekend, but more rain is on the way.
Meteorologist Julie Broughton is in for Tom tonight. Julie?
We are looking at more showers, especially as we head into the day on Sunday. If you're heading out this evening, maybe going out to iDrive. We're looking at temperatures in the upper 70s throughout much of the evening. Maybe an isolated sea breeze shower tonight, but overall pretty quiet tonight. But rain chances go way up on Saturday to 70%, and then on Sunday we're talking about rain chances again staying around 70% for the weekend. We'll break all of this down for you a little bit further coming up in just a few minutes.
Also, kitten season is here. Shelters and rescues are swamped. How Orange County hopes to get results and find forever homes for store with $10 adoptions. What you need to know.
And from a giant cake to a mechanical bull gator. There it is right there.
Giddy up.
Gatorland marking 75 years of old Florida charm as only Gatorland can. We're going to take you there a little later.
But first, this is no ordinary house. It was built using a 3D printing robot right here in Central Florida. Investigator Eric Sandoval shows us how 3D printed homes are helping to bring down the sky-high price of housing. That's next.
You're watching News 6 at 6:30, live on News 6 Plus. We're getting results in Viera, Windermere, and all of Central Florida. We'll be right back.
Brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
Welcome back to News 6 at 6:30. It seems you can 3D print just about anything these days. The technology is getting better and more affordable, but we found a company that is taking 3D printing to a whole new level and scale.
They're 3D printing houses, and they're giving the traditional house a run for its money. News 6 investigator Eric Sandoval shows us how it's being done in Brevard County.
Meet Frank. Frank is a 3D printing robot. And he's hard at work building an entire house.
It's the 4-bedroom, 4-bath.
From the ground up in a fraction of the time.
Feel free to come on in.
Trevor Ragno is technically Frank's boss. He is one of the pioneers of 3D house printing.
Excuse us, guys. We're shooting right over here.
We're inspecting your work, guys.
Yeah.
He's showing us the inside of this home near Melbourne that was just created using Frank the robot.
So what are we looking at in here?
So yeah, there's a lot going on in here, but right now we've just kind of walked into a living room. We could take a couple more steps forward if you wanted to come in here. We have a viewing area for kind of a living room. We have a TV that's being mounted here, a recessed fireplace. We have actually 3D printed some components on the ground, which are, it's our mantle going across here, and an arch in the back that'll go up top.
Frank was built by Brevard-based Apis Core, which is the company Travis works for as head of construction and building technology. Layer by layer, Frank pipes out rows and rows of concrete, which stack to form the walls of the house. And here's the thing, Frank doesn't get tired. As this time-lapse video shows, he can go all day and all night. That means this project doesn't need as many construction workers.
Can we talk about affordability real quick?
Absolutely, yeah.
So how does this solve the housing affordability problem?
At least in the home that we're sitting in now, we're about 30% more affordable than what our neighbors are per square foot. Wow. With that being said, I mean, our neighbor over here, I think they're going on the market soon. An older home built back in the 80s. I think it's a 3.2, 1,500 square feet. They're going on the market for 440, and they'll probably get it. Here, we aren't a 3.2, we're a 4.4. We aren't built in the 80s, we're new construction. We're 2,100 square feet, not 1,500. And we're right around with land, absolutely everything that goes into this, including septic, well, all of the furnishings, a nice 75-inch Samsung TV, recessed fireplace, everything but the carpet and drapes. All comes to about $305.
That $135,000 savings is just one of the benefits of a 3D printed home. Buildings like this also allow more flexibility in the design and shorter construction times. These homes can also stand up to hurricane-force winds and earthquakes. But building codes haven't caught up with this technology, so it's making it a bit more challenging to build in some areas. And the need for fewer construction workers also means fewer jobs in the areas they're built.
It does make a difference, and that's all that we can try to do. Just make the best technology we can and get people homes.
In Melbourne, Eric Sandoval, Getting Results, News 6.
These are different times we live in now.
Would
Justin.
you live in one?
In a heartbeat, because did you see how sturdy that thing, the cement was
are.
just, I mean, it's like concrete and a hurricane. We're talking about hurricane season.
Right.
You're not blowing that thing over at all. And I don't care that it doesn't look very fancy.
And a little icebreaker too. When someone walks into your house, like, hey, by the way,
this is
3D
printed. It was like, okay, I'm going to go home now. Well, kitten season is here. That means local animal shelters and rescues are already getting swamped with four-footed friends needing a forever home.
Yeah, Orange County Animal Services over capacity with more than 200 dogs and 100 cats. So workers there are hoping to get results with $10 adoptions this weekend. News 6's Ezzy Castro is at the shelter on Conroy Road with what you need to know.
We got a chance to go inside the Orange County Animal Shelter. It's usually not this loud, but because they are over capacity, the sound of barking isn't going away anytime soon. That's because right now, there's over 200 dogs and over 100 cats, all in need of homes. Do you know why we're seeing such an influx of animals coming in? We just saw one being surrendered today.
Yeah, so people will surrender strays if they see them. You know, if you're driving down the street or they see a wild dog, they'll bring them here, and usually they're microchipped. And if we find out they're owned, we contact the owner.
The shelter is participating in a mega dog adoption this weekend at the Strawberry Festival Fairgrounds in Plant City, an effort to get as many pets adopted. Meantime, here in Orange County, people can still come to the shelter on Conroy Road if they wish to foster or adopt. There he goes.
It is kitten season, and we're taking a massive influx of kittens right now because cats are breeding more and more in the warmer months. May is peak, and we've seen a massive number of kittens come into the shelter.
We're inside the room where they keep all the general cats, and right here to my left you can see Melvin. He is ready to go home. He is neutered, ready for adoption. Now to my right you will see Toast. And if you want to adopt Toast, get this, all adoption fees are $10 until Sunday.
The goal for the weekend is to get 150 adoptions between that event and here at the shelter.
In Orange County, Ezzy Castro, Getting Results, News 6.
We got to clear those shelters.
We do. I know.
I mean, what a great time. $10 adoption fee. Don't forget it.
All right, let's all go load up this weekend.
Listen, don't think I'm not thinking about
Right?
it. If I had the space, I would totally do it.
know.
All right, Julie Broughton is in now to talk about our forecast, our weekend
Yes.
forecast. Rain chances are going up. for the
Yeah,
weekend.
on Sunday, looks like it could be a little dicey as a cold front moves in, so we'll be keeping a close eye on that. Here's what we're looking at, though, as you were heading out on your big Rockin' Friday night here at 6:54. I mean, I hope somebody's having a Rockin' Friday night. That would be
It's still
nice,
early.
right? Still early, you know, I'd like to be in bed by 8, but I'll be back here at 11. So here's the radar for you sweeping out right now. We are dry right now. Here is our sea breeze. I still think we could pop a few showers along our sea breeze. Now, we did start the day with some rain, some showers that were over the Gulf that moved onto the west coast of Florida. Those held together much better than anticipated. They did bring us a little bit of rain, nothing terribly impressive. The areas where you see the green, the darker green, that's where we picked up the most rain in areas like the Villages and down toward Claremont, about a ½ inch of rain in Orlando. Those are not official totals. Those are radar estimates. Now, our drought monitor comes out every Thursday. Still not in great shape. Every area you see in yellow, that's where things are very dry. As we go farther to the south, really from about Cocoa Beach south and Brevard County, that's where we are looking at moderate drought conditions. If you're stepping out right now, it is 91 in Kissimmee, 88 in the Villages, Leesburg and Claremont, 86 in Daytona Beach, 85 right now in Cape Canaveral, and it is 84 in Cocoa Beach. So here's a look at the southeastern United States. Gives us an idea of what's headed our way. This is satellite and radar imagery. You can see that little complex that went through today that dissipated out over the Atlantic. Our next system, though, this is where we are turning our focus. This is an area of low pressure. It will lift off to the north and east and drag a front along with it. And we are looking at the potential of some strong to even severe weather, I think, on Sunday. Here's how this looks for you on the model data. So pretty quiet for us as we head through our Friday evening. Again, this model picking up a little bit of moisture, so we might squeeze out an isolated shower. Tomorrow we start the day looking pretty good, although cloud cover does increase. We'll see some sea breeze activity setting up tomorrow afternoon, but this is what I want you to pay attention to. Notice Sunday morning, so not our traditional time where we often see showers and storms, that front drops into our area, and from Palm Coast back through Daytona Beach, even back toward Ocala and the Villages, we could see some heavy rain, some gusty winds, and again, we're looking at that potential that we could see some isolated strong or severe storms still hanging in there around 1 o'clock in areas like Apopka and Orlando before that front pushes to our south and we clear by the middle of the afternoon. We will continue tweaking this timing as the model runs keep coming out and we get a little bit closer to the time of that front getting into our area. So for tonight, if you're heading out, rather for tomorrow, here's what you can expect with your pinpoint accurate forecast.
Your forecast is sponsored by Florida Lottery.
A hot day, we hit 97 in Orlando. It will feel like triple digits. Rain chances go up to about 40% for tomorrow. 7-day forecast again, we're bumping that chance of rain up to 70% for Sunday. Again, we've got the little front on there to remind you that front coming in early in the day. 40% chance of rain on Monday with a high of 91 and then in the upper 80s for Tuesday.
Thank you, Julie. Gatorland is unlike any other local attraction, and so is this weekend's big celebration.
Yeah, from a giant cake to a mechanical bull gator, how the park is marking 75 years of old Florida charm when News 6 at 6:30 continues.
Also, Universal shares new details on its new kid-friendly DreamWorks land when pass holders will get to meet Shrek and train with Kung Fu Panda. We're back in 2 minutes.
Well, before Disney World and SeaWorld, there was Gatorland. Today, the alligator capital of the world is celebrating 75 years of entertaining and educating.
And it does it with some old Florida charm, Gatorland style. That includes a weekend-long birthday bash that kicked off today in a uniquely Gatorland way.
3, 2, 1.
And who else would pop out of the cake?
Of course,
right?
she had to. Savannah.
Savannah had to pop out. Yes, in addition to a 75-year celebration, this weekend marks the 5th annual Gator Palooza. That is a 2-day event, which is included in park admission.
Oh, look at this guy.
All kinds of fun and festivities, including the Florida Man Challenge Saturday. That's a little preview of the Bull Gator rides, I guess. The Gatorland vlog team will also be testing their skills on that mechanical alligator rodeo.
It doesn't look too fast. Well, it's getting faster.
Yeah, look at it. And there you go. And down goes that guy.
Frazier.
Okay.
Down goes Frazier.
Over at Universal Studios Florida, New 6 theme park producer Haley Coombs was given a sneak peek at the new DreamWorks land. And Universal just announced annual pass holders will have a chance to try it out before the public can get in. Select times will be available May 24th through May 27th. Look for an email about sign up, which starts May 21st. The land replaces the old Kids Zone area and includes Shrek's Swamp, a Kung Fu Panda training camp, and an area themed to the Trolls movie. That includes a family-friendly roller coaster.
All right. Well, you can keep up with all local attractions at clickorlando.com/theme parks. There you can also sign up for our In the Loop Theme Park Scoops newsletter. Every Friday morning, News 6 producer Haley Coombs shares the week's biggest stories all in one place for you. You can also sign up for free at clickorlando.com/newsletters.
Yeah, always something going on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much for watching News 6 at 6:30. Stream News 6 online anytime on our News 6 Plus Smart TV app.
We break news on clickorlando.com. See you back here tonight at 11. Have a great Friday.